Oh, I believe that we are live. So, hello, everybody. Are you one of those people that is hitting the refrigerator a little too often, or getting up in the middle of the night and making yourself another snack, or going through the drive-through hundreds of times a day? And if you are, then thank you for joining us. I'm Holly Pitas. I have Get Feeling Better, and we have Alan. Oh, I can't speak today. We have Amber Salembier, a body code practitioner, and we are both emotion code practitioners. So thank you for being here.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please, let us know where you're coming in from. And if you would like to volunteer to have your food cravings, either reduced or eliminated, then put in the comments, be as specific as possible what your food item is. Last week, I worked on French fries for myself. French fries is like one of those thorns in my side. I love French fries. So I haven't eaten them as much as I would have normally. So the intensity of my cravings have gone down. But it's still there. So, I know that I have some more work to do. The following week, I worked on Dawn, and she had French fries as well as one of her things. And she hasn't had French fries since, so we were able to eliminate those cravings. But be as specific as possible. And we also need your permission. I wouldn't walk into your house without, an invitation or you to welcoming me into your house. And I certainly wouldn't enter your energy field in order to do so. So you might be wondering, what is this weird stuff? What are these ladies talking about? Well, we were both trained in the emotion code by Dr. Bradley Nelson. And he came up with this modality that, under everything, the root cause is emotions. Right? Emotions get, produced by the different organs and they get released. And if they're not fully released from the body, if we don't actually feel those emotions and process them, then they actually get lodged within our energy field somewhere, and they can cause issues like food cravings, addictions. They can cause pain within the body, digestive issues, you name it. Emotions are probably the root cause of it. So what we do is we connect to your subconscious and we help identify what that emotion is that is causing it and delete it and release it into the atmosphere. So I'm just going to check comments. I'm not hearing you, my dear. No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Could anyone else hear her?
Well, I can certainly hear you. So maybe it is something with our connection. Otherwise, when we
I'm not hearing you.
Okay, when we do the replay, we will have to put subtitles down below. So you'll be able to see us on subtitles.
They're saying it's your volume, dear. It's not mine. Okay, I will talk. So yeah, if you would like to volunteer, I'll, say hi to Melissa. I'll say hi to my friend Lauren, who's watching. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know Melissa is in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and my friend Lauren is watching from Ohio. So welcome. If anyone else is watching, please put your, where you're coming from. I personally am in Ontario, Canada. And my friend Holly is from Wisconsin. And yeah, I've I love what I do. I love to be able to help people get to their next step, to their next level, whatever that dream is, whether it's, getting rid of their emotional eating habits, whether it's, if you have a certain event in your life that you're replaying in your mind, let's say, you were in some sort of trauma, whether it be an accident or something that, you can't stop thinking about, that it's holding you back. What I do is we go in and we identify the emotions that are triggering that. And a lot of the times we don't even have to bring it up. So, we don't have to talk about it. We can just identify it by you even, thinking about it and helping that way, and then releasing all of the emotions that are keeping that event at the forefront of your memory. Because as we all know, we've all been through all sorts of different experiences, and the ones that are being played over and over and over again, they probably have some negative emotions, right? So, I mean, you could go to the grocery store on 2 different days. One day you'll be like, oh yeah, I ran into Betty, and, Betty and I talked and we were there for an hour, and you remember that, but you can't remember the other one because nothing significant happened to, produce an emotion. So you're like, oh, right, I must have gone to the grocery store. I can't remember. And so it just kind of gets filed away, but your subconscious knows everything. Like it really does. And the more that I work on people, the more that, we learn how much the subconscious really does know and how much it remembers. And, to go in and to pick a certain emotion from a certain time frame, with me having nothing, knowing nothing about your life, and, my client validating it, it just, reiterates that your subconscious does knows, and it can pick, terror at age 13, and, you went to see a scary movie or something like that, and you could remember that because it was such an impactful, but I would not know anything. And so when I'm able to identify that, and, you go, oh yeah, that actually did happen, it confirms that, this stuff actually does work. Hi, Holly, welcome back. Are we able to hear you now?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
No. I don't know what's going on with your sound, my dear. I don't think it's mine.
Okay, let's see. Can you hear my microphone? I don't know. All right. I think you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Let me see. Hold on 1 second.
All right, I'm going to sign out and I will be back. I think this is not so good. If you can't hear me today, be sure to join us next week when you will be able to hear me. So, Amber.
Maybe it's both of ours.
Let me see. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, how funny. You know what? I'm gonna do an Arnold here and I'll be back. Let's see if you can hear that.
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now? Well, okay, this is terrific. So, it's Monday, and these things just happen on Mondays. Amber and I had a little conversation before we started today that sometimes the most unexpected things are most apt to happen on a Monday morning when you're trying to get your week started. And so, I also think that, Monday is oftentimes the day that your diet is going to start, and you're like, okay, I promise on Monday, no more of this, that, or the other thing. And so that's why we decided to do our shows on Monday and do the food deleting, because so often, you've got high hopes, high plans for your day at 6 a.m. And by the time you get to the office, and the office right now might be in your kitchen. And so all of a sudden you're going to have this free access to cookies and donuts and who knows what else is in there. And so it's just sometimes too hard to give up. or pass by. So that's why glad you're joining us today. Glad you can hear us. I think we're going to have additional cards that are going to be, saying things like, can you hear me now?
Like that commercial. Hey, can you hear me? How about now? Oh, my kids love that commercial.
Yeah, that is so funny. And it's so true. We say it all the time. And so I think, Amber, I'm going to double check on my side, but do you have any volunteers yet? Because the purpose of our being here is actually not only to tell you a little bit about the emotion code and what a wonderful system it is. Doing the food deletes is something that's, as far as things go, a pretty quick and easy thing to do. So it makes it great for a demonstration. And then it's such a bonus for our volunteers because you're able to just get rid of whatever this temptation is. And then additionally, Amber and I can both do a lot of other things with the emotion code. So not only can it do a food delete, and that food deletes, that's not only like cookies and pies and things that you actually eat, it can also be things that you drink. So if you're drinking too much coffee or too many milkshakes or too much wine, anything like that, we can also help you that way. And then additionally, the emotion code can work on any type of emotion that gets trapped, because those trapped emotions can irritate your system. So you might have headaches or earaches or toothaches or shoulder pain. Back pain is common, foot pain is common. And so by utilizing the depth of the emotion code or adding the body code session to it, it can really get to the root of whatever it is ailing you and help you live a much freer, healthier life. And it's really amazing, and especially if you're hearing this for the first time, it sounds pretty wild. And so that's why I have my little, like, really? Is that what you're saying to me?
Did you just delete chocolate from my system? Did that really just happen? Absolutely. Or how about we release the resistance to you drinking, the 10 glasses of water or the 8 glasses of water that you're supposed to drink? Or, how about vegetables? Like, really on a scale of 1 to 10, how many, people would go, vegetables are my absolute favorite. But if they're not, we can certainly release your resistance to it. And while we're just like, no, I just don't like those, it's a lot of it has to do with resistance, right? The resistance to the, taking the glass of water and drinking the glass of water, or, oh, well, I just don't like it has no taste, so I'm not going to. And we make up all of these excuses as to why we don't, drink it, or we don't make it a habit, when we know that, we're made up of, 70, 80, 90% water, which means we're supposed to be flushing our systems, with a lot of water, so that everything kind of, the joints can move better, the system can digest better, and so on and so forth. If you're not drinking your 8 to 10 glasses of water daily consistently, then there's probably resistance, and we can certainly help you with that. I know I've worked on my resistance to drinking that, where, you're like, but fruit juice tastes better, or, the coffee tastes better. And, and now it's water or nothing. Or releasing, alcohol, if you like, a glass of wine in the evening, or, that time of the month, and you're all over chocolate, like it's, the next best thing. All of those things are emotionally based, and we can release those. So go ahead in the comments if you'd like to volunteer and have, your resistance, released, so that you can eat more of something. Or if you'd like those cravings released, then go ahead and put those in the comments, and we would love to work on you.
Yes. And so actually, Amber, while you're checking on your comments, I see Sandra Jordan has joined us from Ontario, Canada. So hello, Sandra. And Sandra would like to give up her potato chip cravings. And she calls them a constant potato chip craving. So I would imagine I'm just going to take a wild guess, but if you're saying it's constant, I'll call it a 10. I will definitely muscle test. And what we do for muscle testing is it's called kinesthetic testing, and it's something that if something is truthful for you, your body is strong, and if it's something that is not truthful, then your body is weak. And so Amber and I both use the finger test, and so if it's testing as a yes, our fingers here are strong, and I'm like barely holding. I could barely even hold a feather between my fingers. And if the answer is no, it actually goes right through. So Sandra, I'm going to get connected with you, and we're going to do away with those potato chips. If you are specific to a brand, if you could add that to the comments, but otherwise we're just going to do potato chips all together. Sandra, you do sound like that commercial where you can't eat just one. So let's see if we can turn that to a none. So, all right, I'm going to be connecting. And so, all right, I'm connected with Sandra. And so Sandra is telling me that she has a constant craving for potato chips and probably likes the salt and the crunch and the flavors and all of that. Buys them every time she goes to the grocery store, has them in her car, has them in her kitchen, has them in her living room. And so wondering if there's an emotional reason for why Sandra is craving these potato chips, and I'm getting a yes. And so on a severity level of 0 to 10, what is the level of this craving? Is it a 10? Is it a 9? It's a 10. Okay, so we're at a 10. Sandra has told me that there's no specific brand. So that would be anything and everything that has to do with potato chips. So is the emotion, is it on the emotion code chart? Is it on the compound chart? No, it's on the emotion code chart. Is it in column A? Is it in column B? It's in column A. Is it even? Is it odd? And actually, as I'm working, Amber, I'm wondering if you can tell people about the emotion code chart and what that means and how it works.
So this is what we're working off of. So what we do is we connect to your subconscious, again, using muscle testing, and we go through a series of yes or no. So we act as proxy as you. So we put our needs aside and take on yours essentially. And using yes or no questions, as Holly is doing, she's trying to narrow it down as to what are the emotions that are causing this craving for potato chips in Sandra's case. So it's in a nice chart. And I mean, your subconscious knows this. It knows which ones it is, and it just makes it easier for it to be on a chart. And so we, is it an A or a B? Is it in row 1, 2, 3, 4? Oh, it's in row 4. And then we go, 1, 2, 3, and it, B4, 3 is indecisiveness. And from there we can, it can either be cleared. And so it's, if you could imagine a stream, and these emotions are either the size of an orange or the size of a grapefruit or a cantaloupe, sorry. And imagine it like a boulder in a stream, right? Your energy flows are like streams within the body. And even though we can't see them, they're still there. And so you take this boulder and you put it in the middle of your, energy field or your stream, and the energy now, there's a blockage. And so it needs to find another way around because it still needs to kind of to flow. And so it starts going outside and it creates a blockage. And what happens is that it won't stay in the energy field, then it goes into our physical body, and then we start feeling it on a physical level. And so, it could be why, shoulders hurt, or it could be why we're, you may think, oh, I'm really stressed out today. I'm feeling a lot. I really need those potato chips because, I had a really bad day at work. And what's happening is what's underneath, right? Stress isn't an emotion, it's a reaction. So what are all the underlying emotions that are causing you to reach for the potato chips or reach for this or that? Just like boredom isn't really an emotion. It's it's what we call it because we can't really identify it. So what we do is we go in and we identify what are those underlying emotions. Are they depression? Are they frustration? Are they, rejection? Maybe you got rejected at work and on a conscious level, you're not really aware of it, but on a subconscious, it might just be that, or it might be all the rest of them. So we go in, we identify them, and we release them. And they come to the top of your energy field, and we clear it by going over top of your governing meridian, and we release them into the atmosphere so that they're no longer in your body causing trouble.
Yes. All right. So then Sandra, let me know in the comments how you're feeling. So I did release it. And so I'm not sure also if you have any potato chips, you can try tasting one, seeing if it still has its power over you. Probably not. And then also, if you can tell me if you felt anything. So sometimes during a session, people may feel nothing. They may feel tingly, they might feel hot, they might feel cold. And so it just lets you know that there's some sort of a sensation happening. So that's always fun to hear about. I am waiting for my page to reload. We got some technical issues.
I know, it's Monday. We've got about 9 minutes left. So if there's anyone else who would like a session that would like us to, clear whatever, cravings you've got going on or resistance, then go ahead and put it in the comments. Lauren is saying sometimes it's hard to put into words what we feel. Absolutely. And if you're, maybe you're someone like me who's so used to suppressing, when we were growing up, we're told, don't cry, don't feel your feelings, just kind of, put it aside and keep going on. And, when you get into that habit, you no longer feel your feelings anymore. You can't quite identify, why you're feeling all of this negative, but you can't put pinpoint it or put a finger on it as to really what's going on. But your subconscious knows. I mean, your subconscious knows, that at 5, you felt panicked because your brother jumped out of a box or something like that and scared you, right? Like all of those things that unless we actually processed and released, they're all still sitting within our energy field. And, that's why, we promote, do daily activities that will help you release those emotions. Journaling will help you, I work with my clients and we do EFT tapping. You could go for walks, exercise. Like there's lots of different things that you can do to help burn off some of that emotion so that they're not causing you physical or emotional issues anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I just want to let you know I heard back from Sandra. So Sandra, I'm really excited about this. So she says she's looking at a bag of chips right now, but does not feel drawn to them. And that's exactly what happens. It's the whatever that item was that you were eating, it just, like I said, doesn't have any power over you anymore. So it's not like it's offensive. It's not like you are turned off by it or anything. It's just like, whatever. Whereas it used to be, I'm sure every so often, if you're really attracted to like the cookies or the chips or what have you, when no one's looking, you'll just shove a whole handful in your mouth. And like all of a sudden it's like they can be right in front of you and it's like you're looking at nothing. So that is very fun. And then Amber, I don't know, when I was concentrating through the session, I don't know if you talked at all about absorbed emotions, but
No,
sometimes, yeah, so sometimes it's not even your emotion, but if you have, say, the friend who calls you up and is always, yada, 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 the same story about something that's difficult in their life or their work problem. And maybe it's the same story, or maybe it's some new shocking story of something that happened. And as you're talking to them, or maybe right after you hang up the phone, you're like, oh, now I need a milkshake. It can be that it's because you absorbed some of their bad emotions. That's why they called you, is because they want to share whatever this thing is with you. And sometimes these emotions just hang around. So that's a tricky thing because it's not even your emotion, but for some reason it's like somebody says, you're standing there and somebody needs help with a bag and they'll say, here, can you hold this for me? And you're like, okay. And so now you're just hanging on to it. And again, the beauty of the emotion code system is that it can help release it. So glad to know, Sandra, that you're feeling pretty good. Thank you so much for joining today. And if there's anybody else, let's see, we still have about 5 or 6 minutes. So I'm not sure if you've got a volunteer on your end, Amber.
My friend Lilith is saying hi, so hello, Miss Lilith. But I mean, a lot of these are my friends, and I've cleared a lot of my friends' food items. Like you get so excited, you're like, hey, I can clear your food items. And then, you then because my husband loves it because, we're no longer, having to buy, different things anymore. There's no junk food in the house as much anymore, because it's not like you can't have it. It's not like, occasionally I don't have chocolate, or something like that when I cleared my really bad chocolate addiction. It's more like you can just take it or leave it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're, for example, a chocolate, but you only have this certain brand, right? Like we all know when you go into the chocolate aisle, there's thousands of chocolate bars, right? But you won't eat this kind because, it's take it or leave it, right? But you really crave this kind. And so you keep eating this kind. It turns the one that you constantly crave into the one that you just couldn't care for.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've cleared so many of my own, food items out of my own system that it's like, I'm just not interested in it anymore. I mean, it's not like a restriction thing where you're like, no, I can't have that because I'm on a diet this week, or, I'm on something this week. It's like, no, I could enjoy it. I can enjoy a piece of cake if I want to, but I'm not eating the entire cake anymore. Right. And I mean, I use food most of my life as a coping technique. I really did, like the kids are frustrating you, and you don't know how to deal with that frustration. So what do? You go find the pantry and the bag of chips or the ice cream, and you're sitting there and you're sneaking food because it's helping you suppress some of those emotions that, you're just challenged to, to cope with. And, this allows you to release it. Let's get rid of that so that, you're not looking to food as to cope. You're looking to food as, a way to heal your body, a way to soothe your body and fuel your body so that you can keep going and, look forward to eating food, to enjoy it, as opposed to feeling the shame and the guilt and all of the other massive amounts of emotions that you feel when you pick up,
Mm-hmm.
the ice cream or whatever. You shouldn't have. Food should be about joy and just joy because you enjoy eating it, not about the shame that you feel afterwards when you've picked it up.
Exactly. And, there's a reason why they call it comfort food, because in some way we're trying to self-comfort. I do want to give a shout out to another one of our viewers, and that is Daphne. And so Daphne is down in the Texas area. So glad to have you join us today, Daphne. Thank you. And then something else when we're talking about cravings, I do a special stop smoking program. I do use the emotion code with it, and I've also partnered with a hypnotist for a really extensive program. And so if you are interested in that at all, or anything more that I can do, join me at Get Feeling Better. Amber and I both have online scheduling systems. So, and I think we both work the same, that you can either do it by a live video through either Facebook or Zoom. So if you want to be with us live, we can do it that way, or you can just schedule a time. And so some people are, they're saying I'm traveling at a certain time, but, we'll label a day or a time for when we can do it remotely, like through an email or text or something. And again, it would be similar to what you did today, that you would just tell us what the issue is and tell us the severity of it, and then give us your permission. And the reason we want to know the severity is because we want to have some sort of system of measurement. So if we're finding out that it's a 10 and we can get it down to a 0, that's fantastic. Sometimes if whatever your issue is a 7 and we get it down to a 4, that's still a major improvement. And our bodies hold on to things. Think about any habit that you've ever tried to give up, and it doesn't give up very easily. So we are creatures of habit. We always go back to the same well-worn path, whatever path that is. And so sometimes if we have something that we've been hanging on to for a very long time, sometimes that change happens incrementally, that it goes from a 7 to a 5 to a 3 to a 2 to a 1, and then finally a 0. And so sometimes we often say it's like peeling back the layers of an onion. And sometimes you just get a very papery thin, barely there layer, and sometimes you get a really thick layer. So although we can do these food cravings pretty fast and easy, some of the deeper emotions can take a little bit longer with the session. So we also both offer consultation. So if you want to call up and talk to us for about a 10 or 15 minute, we can tell you a little bit more about what we could do for you in that particular issue. And I'm going to say one more thing, Amber, and then I'm going to turn the floor over to you. But when we are asking these questions of your subconscious mind, it's also still very anonymous. So we might know that you had an event that impacted you in some manner, but we don't have to know the details of the event. So if it is something that you don't care to share or reveal or have to rehash, we don't need to know that. So just make sure that you realize that this is a very safe and protected, personally protected kind of exchange. So we just really want to help you out and hope that you're going to be feeling better after working with us.
Absolutely. Well, I guess that's it for today. We thank you all for joining us. I'm live again on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I go live on my page. This week we're doing pain again. Pain is always a good one to work on. So if you're feeling any kind of pain within your body, then join me Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my page, Knots Untied Within, and volunteer to have your pain reduced. Mm-hmm. So we look forward to seeing you next Monday at 12 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Central. And I think we're doing food again, are we not? Or do we want to move on to something else?
I think, how about if we do one more food and then let's pick another pot, another ailment. How's that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we will see you again next Monday to release food again. Bye, guys.